Diving in the news. There we go. Hit the button, please.
It's the all-new John Curley Show featuring John Curley, starring John Curley, featuring John Curley. It's all new.
Thank you, Felix. Must have proceeded.
Now you got to dive again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should be brave enough to do that in front of people. We have guests that come in here, right?
Don't
David Larson running for Washington Supreme Court. He's there. I'm like, I don't want to do that because it sort of throws people off.
Oh, you're embarrassed because you feel
it's not embarrassed. It's just like, what the hell's going on here?
Then you got to dry yourself off.
Yeah.
There is that.
Yeah. It's awkward.
Oh, look at you guys. Jinx, one of you guys owns each other a Coke.
Yeah.
Oh, my candidate lost last night. It was a squeaker.
What do you get? 0.4%?
We're going to talk to him. How many other interviews is he doing today?
I have no idea.
Chance Oliver.
Chase,
sorry. Whoops. Diving into the news! Now, my other candidate who I was writing in, Peanut,
Oh.
the squirrel that got killed, also didn't do well in the election either.
Did we get an actual number on Peanut
I
votes?
did read today that there are a number of people that wrote in Peanut. I wrote Peanut in. Every single judge was running unopposed. They put Peanut in there. Wouldn't it be fun if you got just enough that got like some mention that they have to bring that up?
Absolutely. I think the Peanut case needs light to remain on it.
I am on that one. All right, so Donald Trump wins. 47th president. He comes back. Grover Cleveland is the only other president ever did this. He won. He was the 22nd, then came back the 24th. He was not the fattest president. That was Taft. That's all the history there. Kamala Harris delivers her final speech. I think this is the end of her. She doesn't come back. Even when Hillary Clinton was asked, why didn't you do a concession speech the night of? And this was in a Jane Pauley interview, the 2016. She said, the reason I did, because I had nothing prepared. I was so shocked that I had lost. And there's a book that has been written about what happened during the campaign. She loses. She goes into this room and starts screaming and yelling and starts throwing stuff at people. The Secret Service are in there. I mean, she is just absolutely just mortified.
Hillary. Wow.
And humiliated and just yelling at everyone. Just couldn't believe it. And was unable physically to get in there and give a speech. She told Jane Pauley, I didn't have a speech prepared. She was so just shocked and maddened that she would not be able to stand there in front of the microphones and to concede the race to Donald Trump. She eventually did the next day. This is historic in that it's the first time a president or a candidate loses and doesn't on the same night of the loss say, hey, I lost. I called the other guy. Congratulations. We wish him the best. Hillary said the next day, I called Donald Trump. I congratulated him, told him I will be there for him and anything he needs. Very graceful in the loss, right? That's what people always want to see. Be a good loser. So yesterday, Kamala Harris didn't concede, even though it was pretty much all written on the walls. Everybody knew. It was basically the same speech that was given before. John Podesta gave the speech saying, hey, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Yesterday, Cedric had to get out there and give the same sort of speech. That, hey, listen, there's other things out there. Don't give up. Thinking about you. God bless you, and may God be with you. Bye-bye, everybody. So Harris doesn't give the speech yesterday, which I don't think speaks well to the character of the individual. Just admit it. Look, you lost. Wish the guy good luck and move on. But so she gives this speech here, a piece of it.
Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power.
There's the applause line right there, right? Yeah, there was a peaceful exchange of power. It's not on January 6th. That's not when the peaceful exchange of power happens. It happens 2 weeks afterwards. But anyway, little shot, huh?
A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States.
Okay. There you go. All right, ready for this? Big, bold move that I think Joe Biden should do. Ready? I'll find my big, bold music. Put some bold music on there. You got anything out there that would really make this thing seem like it has more gravitas? Should I do it as Tom Brokaw?
Yes.
In an historic move, President Joe Biden has pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, of the 2 charges to be brought against him. And then the president also pardoned Donald Trump.
Yes.
Boom! Boom! Lasagna. You agree?
I do agree. Yeah. I think he should have done it a while ago.
Because I think he will pardon Hunter.
Yeah.
I think he
why
will.
Wouldn't he?
Right. Because he doesn't want to see he could go to jail for 10 years or something. So you pardon your son, and then, because, I mean, if you just did that, and you don't often do the other, man, then you want to talk about a legacy? That would really, because he was so concerned with his legacy, Joe Biden was. That's why he didn't drop out earlier. That if he did that, I think if you're a Republican, you would be hard-pressed not to give the guy some props for something like that. Because then you let the Trump thing go, let the lawfare stuff go, you let it all go, and you say, look, clean the slate on this thing, let's move forward, turn the page, right? That would show that you're a bigger man than we have seen over the last whatever years that he's been in there being a small man. Because you know you're going to pardon your son. So do the same thing, clear the deck, and move on. And I think that would be the legacy. That thing, you want to make history? Rather than just sort of being, a pause between the first Trump 4 years and the next 4 years of Trump, rather than sort of being an intermission between the two, you would really be in the history books for something like that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you may. Questions now? Yes, man with the hat on for no reason.
It's cold in here.
It's not cold in here.
It is. Well, it's cold out there.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So,
is that the question?
No, presidential pardons, are you only allowed to use those at the end of your term? Is that the way it works?
No, they normally do them at the end because then they can't get a lot of crap.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
like Scooter Libby gets pardoned, Ford pardons Nixon. There have been historic pardons, but normally they do it near the end. Ford doing in the beginning for Nixon to move on. But it's sort of a last chance to be able to do it without having people, constantly coming at you at the end.
Yeah, that's the debate I have with a lot of friends that are not Trump fans, and I'm not either, but that if you wanted to get rid of him, just beat him in an election, get rid of all the judicial stuff, because that just fires up the angriest of the angry, fringe people. They can't believe that our own government is trying to put him in prison. And if he is to win, or even if he didn't win, they should just if you want him to go away, just get rid of all that legal stuff.
Yeah, there you go. I've heard the other talk shows on here. People are upset, and then we have sound of people that are crying and things like that. Here's my take, and I'm going to talk to Chance Oliver, who is a libertarian third-party candidate.
Chase Oliver.
I keep calling him Chance. No wonder he didn't win. Right. Chance and Snowball and Chase talking about third-party candidate. Plus, this is my theory, which I want to run by him, which is very similar to George Orwell's 1984. Be a signed reading for everybody that's listening to the show. If you haven't read it, maybe you lied and you said you read it in high school, or you got the Cliff Notes. So George Orwell basically points out that in the 1984 with Big Brother, that there were 3 countries that were at war, right? Eurasia, East Asia, and Oceania were all at war. And the world had been divided up into these 3 big countries. Well, Big Brother, that's the power above everybody.
Above even...
There really wasn't there were these countries, they lived in these places, but the Big Brother was always telling, there was a Big Brother that was supposed to be talking to Eurasia and then East Asia. Each one had their own they all thought they had their own Big Brother kind of thing, right? But the But the power above all of that,
The puppeteer.
was telling everybody, oh, the reason you don't have good coffee, the reason we're rationing on the chocolate, the reason we don't have this and we don't have that is because we are at war. And constantly, you must respect and make sacrifices for Big Brother, because if not, we will be overrun by Oceania or overrun by East Asia. We'll be overrun by Eurasia. That at any minute, if we don't continue to sacrifice and continue to fight against each other and obey Big Brother, we'll be overrun. And you think things are bad now, they're going to be that much worse. So my theory is the people, there's a power structure that's above all of this, without sounding like Alex Jones, that likes this. Every time somebody gets mad at somebody else and throws a yard sign away or knocks somebody's Trump hat off or cries in a car or screams at somebody else or can't come into work today because they're so upset by the election, the people that really pull all the strings, they love this. They want this. They win, you lose. You're upset, you're mad at somebody, you lose a friend, they go away from you, you're losing sleep, you maybe get sick, who knows? But you're not doing yourself any favors, and the only favor and the only good part that comes out of your misery are the people that want us at each other's throats. Because when we are standing here screaming and yelling, you're not aware of the other things that are going on. So I will ask Chase Oliver, although he only got 1 million votes, he basically, as a libertarian, says, listen, if we could take the power away, because the lobbyists, the real money people, they don't care who's in office. If a president's in there, they give 60, and it's a Republican, 60% of the lobbying money goes there, and 40% goes to the party that is out of power. And you flip it around the other way, they just go back and forth. They don't care. It's like a drug dealer, right? They don't care who's buying the drugs. They don't care how old you are. They don't care anything about you. They're just going to sell you the drugs because they just want to sell you the drugs. So the money that controls politics and controls the government, they really like to see all of us at each other's throats because it keeps you away. Much as in 1984, George Orwell, you're not aware of, well, I guess this is why we have crappy coffee. I guess this is why we don't have this and we don't have that. And somebody's watching us all the time. So just it's if I were to get somebody on the air that's really upset that Donald Trump won, and they would probably also be really upset when Bush won, I would run some numbers for them. And I would say, tell me, were you happy or sad? I'm just going to give them the numbers of the economy, the trade, unemployment, and all this other stuff. And then, okay, who was in office for this or for that? Most people don't know. So what my point is, you have no idea. Your life is going to go on. Your life will just go on. And you won't even really feel a lot of this sort of stuff. Just focus on what you can do. And what you can do is make connections, real, honest relationship connections built upon something far more important than politics, which is community, right? If you would like to be involved with something that has a religious base or a sports base or it's community base or it's helping some kid or helping some elderly person, if you connect with that other person on a level far more important than politics, you will grow that relationship into something that is so strong that it doesn't matter who's in office. But to scream and yell and cry and stay home, you are, unfortunately, been victimized by these power structures that want you to be unstable. And for the people that see people crying, that mock the tears, you're just, in a way, just as bad. That's it. I mean, it's put it in perspective. Have a perspective of it. It's the great Voltaire's Candide, which is a novel that he wrote in 3 days. And basically it was this. These guys are going through town. They come across this farmer. And they say, did you hear what was happening? The farmers, they called him the Turk, the good Turk. Did you hear what happened, that somebody had been poisoned or somebody had been killed? What do you think about this? Who do you think killed these people, these leaders who are over here? And the Turk invites them into the house and says, listen, I don't know and I don't care and it doesn't mean anything to me. Well, aren't you aware? Don't you care what's happening? What about what's happening? What's happening out there? And he said, I care about my 3 daughters and I care about growing oranges and lemons because I need to feed my children. I need to feed my daughters. I must tend my own garden. So this is a philosophical idea that's been kicked around, but basically what it is take care of the things you can take care of. And if you spend all of your time worried about things that are outside of your control, right? Think of the great prayer of serenity that Alcoholics Anonymous has taught, right? Learn to control, accept the things I cannot change. You voted, other people voted, okay, move on. But begin by healing yourself by realizing that the wounds are mostly self-inflicted.